I've held this in for so long. I met my husband 4 years ago. It was very quick and intense and we're still just as love today. Been married 3 years. In 2018 we split for a few months, this will be important later. Before our split, his mom, we will call Karen, and his sister we will call Jane, were very nice to me. He has a large family with a few sisters, Karen and his amazing dad as well as a brother who are mostly neutral towards me. They were welcoming to me and so sweet when we would visit. Karen still talks to his exes a lot. One in particular, Katie, is always invited for dinners, holidays, birthdays etc. Katie was abusive to my husband, cheated on him so much and was horrible to him. On my wedding day Jane even compared me to her saying she was sad he had married me instead. During our split Jane, her husband and Karen wished the worst on me, told him to sue me, called me all kinds of names and Jane even told me if I was seen on or near her property she would shoot me. Jane lives in the same town as us and Karen lives on the other side of the country. When my husband and I got back together they refused to talk to me when I reached out and apologized to each family member individually. Karen and Jane blocked me and still talk bad to my husband. My issue is my husband and I are trying to have children and I told him until they apologize I won't have them anywhere near me or my children. He thinks I'm overreacting even though they still dote on and talk to and about Katie. They cause huge arguments. Am I in the wrong for putting my foot down? Why did you have to apologize? Whatever the reason you and your husband took some distance is none of the problems for Karen and Jane. You are not overreacting, they need to apologize. Even if they do, you never forget it's not an honest apology. In your place I would consider a huge talk with your husband in order to set boundaries and to make very clear what's wrong here. Honestly, if mother-in-law and sister-in-law prefer ex-Katie I wouldn't consider talking with this ladies ever again. The split hurt my husband, and I was hoping if I was the bigger person and apologized first they would too. Talking to him about his mom is so hard. He's the first boy and he's such a mama's boy, he wouldn't be able to handle his mom not meeting our kids. He makes excuses for her constantly. I'm so torn here, I can't ask him, her or me, and he doesn't like my wishes. The split hurt him but also you. Still none of their business. Look, you are trying to be nice, educated and considerate but in the eyes of those toxic people this will be used as a weakness. I don't want to be hard on you, maybe there are a lot of things that I don't know but I'm in this sub for a reason, of course. It's not about your husband choosing between you and them, it's about you needing to be respected. You need to set all the boundaries that you think are needed otherwise mama's boy is going to walk with all his family on you. It's not easy, I know. My own BF is still partially in the fog but at one point I had to go and see with his mother for the sake of my sanity. The split broke me in half. I love him with all I am. I guess you're right, I need to stop laying belly up with my mouth shut. I've been nice and quiet for 2 long years. The rest of his family has fantastic relationships with me now and have long since forgiven me. He's gonna have to just buck up and accept my terms. They threatened my life for crying out loud. If they want to be near my kids it'll be a long road of trust building and they'll more than likely never been alone with my kids. Hopefully I can get them to understand. I'm happy if I could help you in any way. And again, if it's only for the split they don't have nothing to forgive. Like nothing. I'm sorry, what? They threatened your life? What you need is a restraining order for you and any future kids, not some hallmark pseudo-polite relationship where they continue to shit on you and you sit around like a porta-potty just taking their crap left and right. Your future kids need you to step up now and start protecting yourself and by extension, them. Forgiven you for what? What did you do to them? Why did you and your husband split up? I feel like if we had this information we would be able to help you better. If your husband can't stand up for you, that means that he's basically okay with watching you suffer abuse, time and time again, just as long as he doesn't rock the boat. Being crazy in love will not be enough to save this relationship if he doesn't learn to put his family in their place. If you have kids, I guarantee you that things will only get worse. Some people think that having a baby will solve relationship problems. They don't, they just magnify them. Your mother-in-law and sister-in-law will steamroller all over you, in front of your own kids if this isn't dealt with. I suggest that couples counseling might help your husband to understand that the behavior of his family is not only abnormal, it's positively abusive to both of you. Don't even consider kids until he is willing to take a stand, and keep it up. If you do have kids, he needs to understand that you, him and your kids are all one family. That means that you must always be the priorities. If his family keeps stepping out of line, he needs to be prepared to go no contact. You need to explain to him that they will say bad things about you to future children. How would he feel if your dad talked bad about him to his children? Raising children is hard enough without you being trash to your children. My ex-husband lived with his grandmother who raised him. I could do nothing right and she let everyone, including my daughter. My daughter was well into adulthood before we had a good relationship. It took years of many heartbreaks. Don't put your children into that mess. Sounds like you have a husband problem. Ask him if he is willing to get counseling to work through your problem with an outside person's perspective. Yes, you can ask that. And there needs to be a clear answer before you decide to have kids with this man. Otherwise these people will alienate your child from you. If he can't cut the apron strings, you should cut and run. Otherwise this is what you can expect for the rest of your life. He just doesn't want to anger anyone. He's torn between me and his family. They threatened my life. He's building a family with me. But I need to be firm about it. I'm just worried, I guess. When you get married, your spouse comes first for the rest of your lives, or marriage if it ends up not working out. He shouldn't be torn between you and no damn body. This isn't just an issue with his mother and sister, this is a him problem too. He needs to man up and understand what marriage means. This is a just no, so not a mother-in-law issue. Please take this there, because why would you bring kids in this world if he isn't willing to defend you now? What about it being a pandemic and you want to keep your child safe and they insist on coming and they accuse you of keeping the baby away because you never resolved this issue? If you aren't a steady front now, there's no hope. Agreed. Poor boy is torn between his mom, you know, the one who threatened to shoot his wife, helped ruin their wedding day by comparing his wife to his abusive ex and caused damage in their marriage, and his wife. If he is torn still, then other partner has no hope when it comes to babies. They need couples counseling and they both need individual counseling. Him for identifying unhealthy behavior and see why other partner is in the right to stay away. Other partner needs it for this whole ordeal, and therapy can help with other aspects too. Why are you considering having kids with this man? He won't stand up for you now. Can you imagine how much worse it will be when you have a baby? Can you imagine him taking your child out of your arms and handing the child to his hateful mom and sister? Do you think they'll be suddenly nice to you? Nope, they'll be abusive and teach your child not to respect you, and your husband still won't put his foot down.